What's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again. Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor, the breakdown after the fight. Before I get started, hit the thumbs up on the way in, subscribe if you haven't. Most importantly, leave your take on it. Look forward to the comments. And let's get straight into it. So I want to start by saying, it takes a real special fighter to be a favorite, being the away fighter and being the favorite in the fight, So Josh Taylor, being from the UK, stepping into the US, being the favorite to win, it takes a special fighter to have that in them, or to have the people's vote on that. I understand that Teofimo Lopez, you could say that he lost to Martin in a close fight. It was a close fight. Josh Taylor losing to Catterall, I'm not even going to mention what's on the record. He lost to Catterall. For him to be out of the ring for that long, inactive, you could say, it takes a special person to be the favorite, fighting another champion in another division, that's beaten a top contender, that's proved that he can step up to the plate. He's challenging a guy that's proved that he can win when it counts. When he beat Loma, he beat the best guy at 135 at the time, in my opinion. He won the title, and for Josh Taylor to get that, to get that advantage of being the favorite is a big statement. And I mean, he started the fight off looking like the favorite, and just as I expected Taylor to go out there and to win majority of the rounds, especially the first couple, which he did. He won the first couple of rounds convincingly. Now, being the away fighter, you have to be very convincing to the judges. You have to really go there and dominate, and Taylor done that in the first two rounds. You can't take that away from him. He done that in the first two rounds. And my whole thing was, Taylor needs to win at least 3 of the 6 rounds and then box on the back foot, and then that way Lopez, he's frustrated, he knows that he's down, it's already halfway through the fight. He starts overreaching, he starts, missing. He can't get to Taylor. That was my whole vision of the fight. I was completely wrong. I did mention that, Teofimo, for him to win, Taylor needed to come forward, and he did. He fell right into his traps. The thing that really changed this fight for me, when you're looking at a southpaw and you're looking at a right-handed fighter, usually they battle for the jab. Usually it's who can establish the jab first, which Taylor did, the first couple of rounds. But the thing that really was on Lopez's mind was to hurt him. He came in there heavier than Taylor, being a shorter guy, being stocky, having a stocky build, that was his intentions, was to hurt him. He wasn't looking for, a fight where he's trying to establish the jab before the other guy. No, he's looking for openings. He's looking for counters. He's looking for meaningful shots that's going to hurt the guy. And that's what he found. It was the 4th round where he hurt Taylor with a straight right. He hurt him with a straight right, rocked him. That gave him the confidence to walk him down. Teofimo is a guy that needs that, to really walk a fighter down. When he's losing a fight and he can't seem to win rounds and things like that. He can't seem to hurt guys. You start seeing holes in his attack. He gets frustrated. He starts coming forward and he misses and he overthrows and things like that. he loses his confidence. You know, he needs to hurt the fighter for him to gain confidence. You know, look at the Martin fight. After the fight, he's saying, do I still have it? You know, he's doubting himself because he didn't hurt Martin. You know, he builds up his confidence once he hurts a fighter. Then he starts finding openings. You know, and the problem with Taylor was that, you know, it was pretty simple. You know, Taylor just had the wrong game plan, you know, to start with. Or I should say, after he got hurt. You know, he was basically saying, you know, before the fight, I'm going to come after you. You know, he's coming after a guy that's faster than him. He's coming after a guy that hits harder, that's weighing more than him, you know, and he's the taller fighter. You know, when a guy's weighing more than you know that they're going to come there for a slugfest. You know, and that's where Taylor went wrong. You know, he's going in there trying to come forward against the shorter guy that's faster than him and hits harder than him. You know, and it was disappointing. You know, I mean, I was happy that Teofimo won for sure, but I mean, a fight at this magnitude, you know, I was expecting a more competitive fight. I think that Teofimo really used his strengths, you know, which was his left hook and his straight right. You know, I mentioned this before the fight. These are the two punches that he uses, you know, that really hurts the fighters. You know, punches that can knock you out. And another example, you know, Zile Zhang, you know, when you're fighting a guy that's the opposite stance of you, you know, when Zhang fought Joyce, you know, he understood I've got a straight left and a sweeping right. You know, Taylor understood this as well. But this time, you know, he was fighting the southpaw. It was the other way around, you know, but he understood I've got a straight right and a sweeping left, you know. So when he hit Taylor with that right hand in the fourth, which rocked Taylor, okay, Taylor was stepping back, he was hurt. Okay, Taylor's trying to come forward and he's trying to avoid that, but at the same time, you know, he's getting in line with Teofimo's left hook. What Taylor needed to do was, you know, box on the back foot. You know, Teofimo was able to land that left hook far too many times, you know, and you know, Taylor needed to really double up on the jab. He needed to, you know, try to box Teofimo. You know, he had him 2 rounds up. You know, after he got rocked, you know, he needed to be more disciplined, and he wasn't. You know, he wasn't disciplined. He was frustrated. He was going in there trying to press forward, like he said, I'm going to come after you. You know, but he's challenging a guy that's, you know, being very selective with his punches. You know, he's being very selective with the hooks. You know, his timing was way off Taylor's. You know, he was throwing long shots in short range, which is always dangerous. You know, you're always going to get tagged with that. And Teofimo's staying low. You know, he's making sure that Taylor can't cover him up. He's making sure that Taylor's coming after him. You know, he's standing in a way where he's tilted one way, where Taylor's, you know, getting lined up for the left hook. You know, he's taking away Taylor's jab by countering him with you know, power shots. You know, he's hurting him. And that's basically how the fight went. You know, once Taylor got hurt, you know, Taylor going after him was the wrong move. You know, he needed to really move around, use his legs, use his height, use his reach. You know, we don't see that today. Only a few fighters do that. You know, Tyson Fury, a good example. You know, a guy that can fight on the back foot, use his height to his advantage, tie up when he needs to. You know, Taylor was doing the opposite. You know, he was doing the Joshua approach, come forward against a guy with fast hands. You know, let's not forget Ruiz versus AJ, what happened. And, you know, Taylor was just getting picked apart. His timing was way off. And, you know, Teofimo got the job done. Like I mentioned, you know, this wouldn't be a knockout win. You know, I was right about that. But, you know, just came down to preparation. And Josh Taylor just wasn't prepared for it. And that was basically the fight. You know, Taylor wins. And there's championship rounds, you know, Teofimo wins, my apologies, you know, by a dominant performance. But there's championship rounds, you know, where Taylor really needed to step up. You know, he didn't. This is, you know, for everything really. You know, he didn't look good against Catterall. He lost to Catterall. He's coming back trying to prove himself. And he fell way short, you know, not even putting up a fight in those championship rounds, getting rocked. And this just came down to the wrong game plan for Taylor, you know, and he had that same game plan for Catterall, you know, it was exact duplicate of a performance. You know, he's coming forward, trying to make a statement to say, listen, I'm the bigger guy, I'm going to hurt you. And, you know, he's getting hurt more. You know, let's not forget Catterall putting him on the canvas. In this case, let's not forget Teofimo rocking him several rounds. You know, let's not forget round 8 of Teofimo going in there with a leaping left hook, you know, hurting Taylor. So, Lopez wins convincingly. You know, he now announces retirement, which I disagree with. But, I mean, you know, it's his career. And, you know, now he can say, listen, I've beaten Loma. I've beaten Taylor, you know, 2 great names. And, Lopez just wants the payday, you know, he wants the money. He believes he's the best. I believe that, you know, Taylor just had the wrong game plan. But full credit to Lopez, you know, for stepping up, especially in those championship rounds, you know, going for it. Fully deserved win for Lopez, you know, regardless of how they showed up. You know, Lopez got the most important thing, which was the win. And for Taylor, you know, it may be time for him to move up in weight. You know, we may have seen Taylor deteriorate from here. You know, we may see him keep falling down.